Twinkling Watermelon begins with Ethan and his brother Evan stopping to grab some coffee. Since Evan is deaf, Ethan places the order for him, and they head out together on their bikes. We then flash back to their childhood. We see that both their parents are also deaf, making Ethan the only hearing member of the family. Together, the brothers help their parents run a small restaurant. In the restaurant, Ethan often interprets for his parents. When a vendor comes by with leftover goods, Ethan helps his mom communicate. He even warns the vendor, making sure he doesn't take advantage of their family's hearing disability. Later that night, Ethan wakes up to the sound of snowfall and a choir singing. He tells his mom it's Christmas Eve. The family goes outside to play in the snow, but Ethan soon notices Evan in danger. He quickly uses a laser pointer to get his father's attention. His father jumps into action and saves Evan, and they all rest together afterward. While they rest, Ethan asks his father a tough question. He wonders who his father would save if both sons were in danger. His father answers that he would save Ethan because Ethan would know how to get help for the whole family. Soon after, the family moves out of their trailer and into a basement apartment. Their new landlady is harsh and even tells her son Ben to befriend Ethan because he's a smart kid. At first, Ethan enjoys the attention he's getting from Ben. He even spends time with him at an internet cafe. But when Ethan's father calls him home, he heads back, leaving Ben. Eventually, Ethan joins the same school as Ben. Things change, though, when Ben starts pressuring Ethan to let him cheat on exams. Ethan refuses and writes his own name on his paper. Angry, Ben and his friends beat him up afterward. On his way home, Ethan stops outside the Forbidden Viva music shop. The owner, Grandpa Viva, sees him and invites him in for some hot chocolate. Grandpa Viva offers comforting advice, telling Ethan to avoid friends who treat him badly. He also invites Ethan to come by any time for free guitar lessons. Ethan begins learning the guitar, and to Grandpa Viva's surprise, he picks it up quickly. Over time, he gains confidence and manages to scare off Ben. Ethan continues his lessons with Grandpa Viva, and one day, Grandpa Viva gives him a challenge to create a song from a melody. If Ethan succeeds, Grandpa Viva promises to give him the electric guitar he's been eyeing. That afternoon, on his way back home, Ethan sees Ben getting punished by his mother. Feeling sympathetic, he offers his jacket to Ben before heading home. Once there, he learns that his parents have been called to a meeting with other shop owners, so they ask him to stay and look after Evan, who is down with a fever. While keeping an eye on his brother, Ethan starts working on his song for Grandpa Viva's challenge. Meanwhile, Ben arrives to return the jacket. He rings the bell, but Ethan, wearing earphones, doesn't hear it. Instead, Ben throws the jacket through a window near where Evan is sleeping. However, he accidentally kicks a burning cigarette butt into the house. The cigarette lands near the curtains, which soon catch fire. Unaware of the danger, Ethan leaves to visit Grandpa Viva at the music shop. When he arrives, he knocks on the door, hoping Grandpa Viva will open it, but there's no response. At the same time, firefighters are called to stop the fire spreading through the basement apartment. When Ethan's parents arrive, they're devastated to see both their sons trapped inside. The firefighters manage to bring Evan out of the apartment and tell his father there was no other child inside. Worried about Ethan, his father bravely enters the burning apartment to search for him. Meanwhile, Ethan arrives and rushes to his mother, assuring her he's okay. She, however, is upset that he left his brother alone. When Ethan's father comes out, he looks shattered, but then feels relief seeing Ethan is safe. Both he and Evan are taken to the hospital for checkups. Despite knowing her son Ben caused the fire, the landlady forces Ethan's family out of their basement apartment. Feeling guilty, Ethan blames himself, thinking his obsession with music led to the accident. He recalls his father's words about saving him because he's the only one in the family who can speak. Before leaving town, Ethan visits Grandpa Viva's shop one last time and is heartbroken to learn that Grandpa Viva passed away on the night of the fire. Saddened, he heads to their new apartment, vowing to be more responsible for his family. Years go by, and the Viva music shop is torn down, replaced by a house now owned by Sierra. Meanwhile, Evan grows up to be a skilled taekwondo fighter, and Ethan helps him train to stay focused. He notices, though, that Evan seems distracted by attention from a girl he's dating. Ethan advises Evan to concentrate on his training, but Evan tells him about his girlfriend, a cello player from a nearby art school. She had pretended to be deaf at first, but later revealed the truth. The story shifts back 29 years, where we meet a young Sierra and her friends, who go for ice cream at a shop where Charlie works part-time. Charlie, who has a crush on Sierra, gives her extra ice cream to impress her, but his grandmother arrives, scolding him for causing trouble and skipping school. Back in the present, Ethan and Evan return, where their mother asks them to help their father to bed after he drinks too much. Before passing out, their father tells Ethan he's proud of him, especially because he's going to be a doctor. He also praises Ethan's hard work, saying his friends admire him for raising a diligent son. That night, burdened by his father's expectations, Ethan tries to study but finds himself struggling. To relieve some stress, he picks up his electric guitar, puts on a face mask, and plays on the street, recalling his cherished guitar lessons from Grandpa Viva. After a few days, 3 members of the rookie rock band Spine 9 wait for Ethan. Everyone is excited for his street performance, and Leo insists that Jordan and Toby stick around to watch him play his electric guitar. When Ethan finally shows up, he tells the crowd that this will be his last performance. Jordan starts to leave, but then stays to watch Ethan's impressive guitar skills. The crowd cheers as Ethan finishes his set. Spine 9 members approach him and ask if he'll join their band. Ethan quickly refuses. However, Jordan hands him a CD of their latest music and encourages him to reconsider. Ethan heads back to his school locker and decides to focus on his exams and stores the CD. Instead of studying, he hops on his bike, puts on his headphones, and listens to Spine 9's music. He worries that music will always pull him back, no matter how hard he tries to quit. The following Friday, Ethan joins Spine 9 for practice. Before he commits, he sets some ground rules. He tells them that music won't be his priority. It's all about his exams, family, future first. The band agrees to his terms. At the night of their performance, Spine 9 plays at the Spark Club and leaves the audience impressed. Meanwhile, Dylan, a talent from MJ Entertainment, gives an interview. He talks about his career, including his high school band days and the early years of his career. Dylan also reveals he was once in a band with Max 30 years ago, but the group had to disband after a major scandal. Max, who's watching the interview, gets a video from his assistant showing Ethan's performance with Spine 9. Meanwhile, the Spine 9 members are celebrating their success and remind Ethan to always wear his mask. They want to keep his identity a secret and create more buzz for the band. The owner of the Spark Club shares exciting news. Spine 9 has been shortlisted by MJ Entertainment and asked to perform at Dylan's upcoming concert. The band celebrates, and the members tell Ethan about Max being Dylan's manager and godfather, and how this opportunity could be their big break into the music industry. However, just as they're celebrating, Ethan receives a text from his father. Worried, he rushes to the police station. When he arrives, he finds out that his father was filing a complaint against an underage driver who almost hit him. The driver's mother, who claims she was behind the wheel, accuses Ethan's father of lying. Ethan realizes that the woman is their former landlady from 6 years ago, and the driver is none other than Ben. After a heated exchange, the police decide to investigate and ask both parties to leave. Ethan interprets his father's sign language, accusing the landlady of covering for her son's mistakes. At home, Ethan and his father argue. His father signs that people with disabilities are often overlooked because they suffer in silence. The next day, Ethan visits the Spark Club and tells the band that he's quitting. Toby angrily calls him a traitor and punches him for abandoning the band when they needed him most. Ethan explains that he's already suffered enough in the past when music became his sole focus, and he doesn't want to make the same mistake again. Jordan tells Ethan they'll wait for him one last time in case he decides to return to the band. Ethan goes back to school and learns that his mother was called in because his grades were slacking. She's concerned because she's never had to answer to his teachers before. Ethan's mother also mentions that she's noticed him skipping classes and promises to keep it a secret from his father, who is very proud of him. The scene flashes back to the past, where Charlie proudly brags to Max about his interaction with Sierra at the ice cream shop. He plans to ask her out, but Max tells him Sierra is already betrothed to a wealthy boy who is soon going to be a doctor and is a member of a boy band. Max advises Charlie to give up on dating Sierra, but Charlie isn't ready to back down. Charlie sneaks into an elite gathering where he's captivated by Sierra performing on the cello. Sierra's friend, Sarah, tries to stop him, but Sierra steps in and introduces Charlie as her guest. In private, Sierra firmly turns Charlie down, asking him to stop following her around. Charlie tries to reason with her, but Sierra makes it clear they come from different worlds, and that dating is not something she's interested in. Charlie tries to convince Sierra to reconsider, but she teases him by pointing out that his jeans are unzipped. Embarrassed, Charlie quickly leaves the party. The next morning, Charlie wakes up in his guest house room, mortified by what happened. A college student, Benji, suggests that girls like musicians and encourages him to join a band. Meanwhile, Sierra talks to Sarah, expressing her dislike for bands because of the noise they make. Outside, a girl named Clara ends up dropping dirty water on Sierra when the bullies make her trip on purpose. Sierra tries to speak politely to Clara, but she walks off without responding. Later, in the women's room, Clara offers Sierra one of her Kurt Cobain t-shirts to replace her ruined uniform. Sierra starts to thank her, but Clara remains silent. Sierra steps outside wearing the t-shirt and bumps into Charlie, who is also wearing the same shirt. In the present day, the pressure of being the ideal child overwhelms Ethan. He visits the old Viva music instrument shop, which is now a house. Sierra, the owner, invites him inside when she realizes who he is. Sierra shares that her daughter plays the cello, just like her, and gives Ethan the guitar that her father, Grandpa Viva, left for him before passing. Ethan breaks down in tears as memories of Grandpa Viva flood back. Before returning home, Ethan wonders what Grandpa Viva would have wanted him to do with his musical talent. The next day, he joins Spine 9 for practice. At home, Ethan's parents ask him to help review the landlady's dashcam footage to prove Ben was driving the car that almost hit his father. Ethan lies, and his brother Evan covers for him. Later, when Ethan arrives at the club, he finds Jordan feeling unwell and rushes to the pharmacy to get him some medicine. The landlady, who was in the area, spots Ethan and follows after him. She finds him holding Jordan's cigarette. At that moment, she gets a call from the police station informing her son, Ben, was the one driving the car. The police are now bringing Ben in for questioning. Outside the police station, the landlady mocks Ethan's father, pointing out how he's worried about her son, yet his own son goes to clubs, drinks, and smokes. Ethan's father, enraged by the landlady's words, drives home in anger. Meanwhile, Max arrives at the club to watch Spine 9 perform. With Jordan still sick, he asks Ethan to step in as the lead singer and guitarist. The concert goes smoothly, with Ethan rocking the stage, but things take a turn when his father shows up. Furious, he scolds Ethan for lying and deceiving him. Ethan, frustrated, tells his father that he wants to be a musician, not someone who has to save the family like an angel or a fire alarm. Upset by the confrontation, he walks off, regretting his words. In a moment of anger, he tries to break his guitar, but something stops him. Suddenly, he notices something strange. There are 2 moons in the sky. He also spots another version of the Viva music shop. Curious, he enters with his guitar and meets Master, who offers him a lot of money in exchange for his guitar. Master warns him not to forget the transaction slip and invites him to return if he changes his mind. With the money and the transaction slip, Ethan leaves the shop. However, as he steps outside, something bizarre happens. He's suddenly transported 29 years into the past, landing in 1995. Ethan runs into Charlie and Max, who call him Dylan. They introduce themselves as members of the band First Love Memory Manipulators. Ethan is shocked when he discovers that Charlie is none other than his father.